a lot of things triggered my quarter life crisis, basically. And it was so horrendous because not only did I lose my job, I was losing my home. I lost my relationship as well. And my life felt like it was just on a continuous downward spiral. Continuous downward spiral. And I'm just like I said earlier, why me? What did I do to deserve this? Why me?
You're welcome back to the show, and like I said, we have a contract. The contract is, if you subscribe to this channel, I'm going to bring new guests with interesting stories every week. So make sure you subscribe, and every week I bring new episode, new guests with very interesting stories as well, always. So you're welcome back to the show, Brianna.
Thank you. Thank you.
So this is the first time we are seeing for this in this new year, right?
I haven't seen you since last year. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. You know, I was checking something online and I saw a guy that said, who are those pastors that said last year was my year? So
we have to find people, man. Please, 2024, hey.
You know, the pastors, they kind of like to say, oh, this year is your year, this year is your year, that kind of stuff. So the guy was telling them, please, who are those people that said this year was my year? Please, you have to come outside because I have not seen anything.
All right, come outside. Please. We're not going to jump you.
So are you the type of person that you make plans, big plans for things that you want to achieve in your life? You start again a new you in the new year? Or are you the type that you continue from where you stopped and make consistent progressive steps? So which type are you?
In the past, I used to be the latter. So just continuing on, because in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, it's the same thing. The new year, you know, there's nothing special about it. But this year, after experiencing the things that I've experienced these past few years, definitely I want to come into this new year with a different perspective, better attitude. I feel like the attitude was my problem in the past, but this year trying to be a lot more positive, definitely, and a lot smarter with the way that I do things. So I feel like back then, I wasn't thinking. I wasn't thinking it at all. Just making poor decisions, left, right, left, right, left, right. But this year, I want to take a step back, right? I want to start, like you said, fresh, start anew, right? Even though life isn't really changing like that, you know, it's just a continuation, but I want to take this step back and start thinking more positively.
So are these part of are these poor decisions you made, are they like part of your life goals, things you want to achieve in your life or something? What are these decisions that you made?
There's so many poor decisions I made. Oh my gosh. These decisions, man, they definitely, it made me lose everything, I would say. So I feel like this new year is me really trying to just pick myself back up. So back then, the decisions that I made, right? So quitting a job that was paying me very well, but you know, back then at that time, I'm working like horrible working hours. I'm living in Korea, but I'm working New York City hours, right? Okay, the money is good, but I'm too tired to spend that money, you know? And, you know, back then made the decision, okay, quit this client, quit this job and work for a company in Korea. Turns out the company was a scam. Didn't do my due diligence. I was just so excited to have this finance internship opportunity, working normal hours, that I didn't do my due diligence. And this one decision changed the trajectory of my life. It did. And it was tough, like from 2022 up until like 2024, maybe like almost the end of 2024. I would say that life was definitely hard. I kept questioning, like, why me? What did I do to deserve this? Woe is me. That was my nickname for myself. Woe is me, right? But I realized after a certain point in time during 2024, actually, like, oh, this is what a quarter life crisis is. That's exactly what I'm experiencing. Yeah. So after I came to that realization this year, I realized, like, okay, this is why I said, like, I have to start fresh. I don't want to think about this as a continuation of what I'm doing in the past, but I have to start fresh, change my perspective, change my mindset and my behavior in order to see the results that I'm looking for.
But like, what do you classify? You said something about quarter life crisis. So what do you, is it that the goals that you want to achieve, your life goals, that you're finding it difficult to achieve it, that's when you're going through the quarter life crisis or what?
So I feel like everyone's quarter life crisis is a bit different. So
Yes.
it's usually triggered by something, right? And in my case, I had like 7 different triggers that really caused me to go deep into this crisis. So remember, I said I lost my job, right? Technically, the first job that kind of started this downward spiral was by me leaving a client that was paying me very well. But from that point forward, that entire year, it's like getting fired from jobs, so losing my jobs. And then I'm a university student. I was an MBA student at the time, right? My first year of my MBA program. And my uncle back in my home country died. And I was just like, oh my God. And he died during finals week too.
Wow.
And I'm just like, this is insane. Like, I'm supposed to maintain the scholarship, right? So because of all of this that's going on, I'm like in the process of like losing my house, and I lost my uncle, and this, that, and the third. I'm like, I lost my scholarship, right? So already 2023 did not start off good, because now I have to pay out of pocket, like I think 10 or 11,000 US dollars out of pocket for my university tuition. I'm not rich, guys, okay? I'm not rich. That money, that was a lot. That was a lot of money, you know? But thank God for, past thinking of saving and stuff like that when I was living in New York, that I was able to continue paying for this tuition. But it's like, imagine spending all of this money and you're not getting any money to replenish that money you're spending,
That's right.
that year just spending, right? So a lot of things triggered my quarter life crisis, basically. And it was so horrendous, because not only did I lose my job, I was losing my home. I lost my relationship as well. And my life felt like it was just on a continuous downward spiral. Continuous downward spiral. And I'm just like I said earlier, why me? What did I do to deserve this? Why me? But like I said, everybody experiences their quarter life, crises in a different way. In my case, it was unfortunate because I had like 7 different triggers. Some people are just lucky and have one. But yeah, in your 20s, man, it's crazy, because it causes you to self-reflect a lot on your life when you're going through this crisis.
Yeah, but have you heard about like something like a self-sabotage? Like, what I mean is, like, some people want to achieve, like, can I ask what are your goals so that I can explain
Yeah, absolutely.
self-sabotage?
So-
what are your life goals?
My life goals in the past actually was to become an investment banker. I got 2 degrees, guys, 2 degrees in finance. I wasn't top of my class or anything, but I did do pretty good. I did pretty good.
Yeah, that's right.
But I had that inspiration from my dad and my uncle. There were 2 finance bros in my family. They were working on Wall Street when I was a kid. So it's like, wow, like I want to be like them. I want to be a finance bro too. So I went through the process of studying. And then remember, I said the New Year's resolution, yeah, I'm going to take this exam this year. And it's like, I was supposed to take the FINRA exam. I went through the process. I basically begged my home university to help me, get into the practice course for this exam. And I just stopped cold turkey. I just stopped doing it, But yeah, my goal in the past was actually becoming an investment banker.
What I mean by self-sabotage is like, like for me personally, I'm this kind of person that like entrepreneurship, like being an entrepreneur right from day one. That's something that I love doing.
Ooh, okay.
But I also have an MBA, just like in finance. But self-sabotage is at one point. Let's assume I want to work in finance. I want to work in finance because most of my classmates, everybody was working in finance because of MBA and every other thing. So I want to work in finance, but deep down, I don't want to work for someone. In the sense that I understand. So I was sabotaging myself,
Right.
because I want it, but deep down, I really didn't want it. So it was kind of self-sabotage to understand your life goals and know whether you are the one sabotaging yourself.
Hey,
Yeah.
you're eating me up right now. But you know what? I have to say, I completely agree. I agree, because here's the thing. I wanted to be an investment banker, right? I thought the life of investment bankers was so fascinating. And mind you, I did work on Wall Street when I was in undergrad, right? I was working at Goldman Sachs. I worked there for about 2.5 years, right?
Yes.
So I'm close to these investment bankers. We're going out for drinks together. Ooh,
Yes.
girl, hold on. I want to incriminate myself. We're going out together. We're having coffee together, right? These are my peoples. And I'm looking at them, at their lifestyle and the way they dress up in the business suits, the guys and the women in their business suits. And it's like, wow, like, I feel like this is what success and power looks like to me, you know? And it's like, I want to be like that. I want to do that. When I asked them questions like, yeah, like what's your day-to-day at this job? What's this, what's that? And I'm curious, I'm asking questions, but then like you said, self-sabotage, like deep down, do I really want to be an investment banker, or do I just want the street cred of being an investment banker, you know? And I thought about that and it's like, genuinely speaking, I feel like deep down, I didn't know that self-sabotage was really the term for this. But it's like, I'm learning something new every day, guys. But it's like, genuinely speaking, I used to be terrified of ever actually becoming an investment banker. And I think because of this fear of actually being in that world and dealing with billions of dollars in assets, I don't trust myself. Because here's the thing. A career like investment banking has an extremely low margin for error. Extremely low margin. So now if I make a mistake, not only am I going to cause a company to lose billions or millions of dollars, I'm going to lose my job on top of that and basically blacklisted from the investment banking community. No other company is going to want to hire me after that. So I had that fear in my heart this entire time. And every time someone asked me, oh, what do you want to do? Yeah, investment banking. And eventually I switched to private equity, which is even harder than investment banking. And it's like in my mind, I thought like, wow, like saying these things, right? Seeing the people be like, wow, she's so smart. Wow, she's this. It made me feel good, you know, but deep down it's like, I don't want to do that. I don't want, you see these investment bankers. Remember I said I worked at Goldman, right? So at my job, sometimes I'm leaving the office at midnight, but these investment bankers are working from like 6 o'clock in the morning until 2 o'clock in the morning the next day. And it's like, yeah, they're making a lot of money. Yeah, they're making those bonuses and everything. But it's like, when do you even have time to spend that money? And then on top of that, they're always on call. And I think about myself, and you said, right, you wanted to be an entrepreneur, right? But you're studying finance. Everybody's talking about, yeah, working for a company, but deep down, that's not something you wanted to do.
Yes.
And then I thought about it from my own perspective as well. It's like, well, I like the title of investment banker, but I don't like the duties of an investment banker.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want to be on call 24/7, because I've seen this happen multiple times where we're out having dinner or something like that, and they get a call from the office, oh, a client needs something done. And mind you, it's already like midnight. So you have to go back to the office. I can't live that type of life. I want the street cred of being an investment banker, but I don't really want to be an investment banker.
Yes, that's an example of self-sabotage. Yeah.
I didn't know.
You kind of want it, but deep down, you really don't want it.
Yeah.
Like, you know, when most people make their goals, like they make goals for the new year, there are, should I make certain mistakes that people make? Like, some people aim very big, and when they don't achieve their goals, it goes towards self-doubt.
Yeah.
And some people make very low goals that they don't end up meeting their potential. Like their potential is here, but their goal is here.
Right.
So they don't end up achieving.
Right.
So people that achieve are the people that understand when to make realistic goals when it matches their potential.
Right.
So which of these mistakes have you made in the future when making your goals?
I feel like I'm a combination of both, honestly speaking. Like, when it comes to like the working as an investment banker thing, I feel like definitely like the goal was like all the way up here, but the potential is like kind of down here. And I don't want to say like, you know, I'm not smart or anything. That definitely wasn't the case. But I feel like I didn't have the motivation and drive that other people had. And I noticed it, and I kept thinking like, wow, like why am I not like that? Everybody here is studying so hard. They're getting these finance internships and, you know, doing all of these things. But it's like, why am I not doing that? You know? I'm here thinking like, oh, like I'm doing the best of my abilities. I'm studying when I can. I'm applying when I can. But it's like, why am I not achieving as much as other people? But I realized after a certain point in time that like, oh, like maybe the goal or the dream of being an investment banker was way too high than what I'm actually capable of doing. And the reason why I say that, not because I want to reiterate, not because I'm not smart or anything, but because I lack the actual motivation. Because remember, we said deep down, I didn't really want to be an investment banker. So when you really want to achieve something, you really want to achieve that goal, you work hard for it, right? You sacrifice for it. But me, I just wasn't really willing to sacrifice my time to actually become an investment banker.
So,
but, yeah.
Coming back to what you mentioned initially, you mentioned the quarter life crisis. So, like, some people might be going through that crisis as well, but they might not identify that as a quarter life crisis. So, what are those signs that you see, you saw, and you said, "Oh, this is a quarter life crisis for me"?
Oh, a lot of self-doubt, kind of self-pity. I feel self-doubt and self-pity. Constant comparisons of where you are in life to, you know, your friends, for example, especially your close friends.
That's depression.
It's the worst. That is, oh my God, that's like bottom of the barrel worst. When you really start looking, and I feel like in our age these days, you know, social media is a very big thing. So social media definitely amplifies that feeling of self-doubt and kind of worthlessness and envy. It amplifies that a lot more, because not only do you have, you know, your friends telling you about their accomplishments, or you're seeing it on social media, you're also seeing random people from around the globe that are the same age as you and accomplishing a lot more than you. And, you know, a lot of the time people say like, oh, social media is not real, but they don't really have that logic truly ingrained into their brain. They know to say it, but they don't really feel it. So they see these people. So, for example, I'm 25 and I see other people 25 and millionaires, you know, driving Lamborghinis and stuff like that. And it's just like, man, like, what did they do that I didn't do? Like, what, you know, you start that comparison, right? And the moment you realize you're starting to compare yourself so much to a point where you no longer feel like genuine happiness for your friends, and you start to feel like, you know, self-pity and envy, that's how you know, like, oh, like this is what, you know, the beginning of a quarter life crisis is.
Wow. So in terms of the self-doubt and envy, how then do you keep that at bay, especially when your friends are succeeding, doing things that you haven't done? How do you keep yourself out from that? I know envy is something that is natural for everybody.
Yeah, everybody.
Yeah, but at least you know how to keep yourself at bay. So how do you keep yourself at bay when your friends achieve more than you or something? And reassure yourself.
Right, reassure myself,
yes,
right?
that yours is coming. Yeah.
You know, it took me a really long time to get to this point. I feel like I haven't truly achieved true peace until this year. You know, we're only a few weeks into this first month of the new year, but I have to say I haven't started to feel true peace until this point. I feel like it's because my frontal lobe is finally, you know, developed and everything. But in order to keep these feelings at bay, right, and maintain that happiness for my friends, I have to remind myself, constantly having to remind myself that everybody's life is different. Everybody's relationships. And I feel like in my case, the topic of relationships and the topic of like job promotions, these two things specifically are what amplified my crisis a little bit more. Because it's like I'm seeing my friends same age as me or 1 year, 2 years older than me, and like getting all of these promotions and a lot more money. And here I am. It's like, man, I have an MBA. Where's my money? You know, why am I working for pennies? And mind you, we're living in Korea, right? And I understand that, you know, foreigners aren't paid that well here in Korea. But it's like I'm looking at my friends who are foreigners and it's like, yo, they're making more money than me. Why? What am I doing that? You know, that's where that self-doubt and, oh, maybe I'm just not smart. And maybe, you know. So you start to think about it like that. But the thing that I have to tell myself is, yo, everybody's life is different. So, for example, on the topic of relationships, right? my main source of like self-doubt and everything is a relationship. So I see my friends and then it's like, okay, they're living with their partners, or they're talking about marriage soon. Some of my friends are already married, and it's just like, they tell me like, yeah, oh my gosh, like living together with your partner is so great. It's so this and that. And they're telling me about their lives. And in my mind, I'm just like, okay. But then when I experience this thing in my expectations, like it's not matching, or my experiences are not matching what they told me, then I start to self-doubt. And it's just like, oh, but how come they experience it, but I'm struggling to experience that? Why, But then I have to like remind myself, like when I think about my friends' relationships, it's like, okay, I have one friend whose name I'm not going to say, but I have one friend where she has her relationship, love this girl to pieces. But it's like when I look at her relationship, like, yeah, okay, her and her boyfriend are living together. Yeah, she has a nice job too. But when I look at the relationship, it's just like, I don't want that. I don't want to be out with my friends and have my partner calling me every other hour, every 5 minutes. Oh, where are you? You having fun? I don't like stuff like that. And then having to ask another friend, she's like, yeah, you just have to ask if it's okay for you to go out with your friend. And I said, ask? Am I a child? Why do I have to ask for permission? It's one thing to give advance notice, like, hey, I'm going to hang out with my friend tomorrow morning, right? Or, something like that. But it's just like, why should I have to ask, is it okay? I don't like that. So that's where it also ties into like recognizing what it is that you want and don't want in this life. And it kind of helps you pull yourself out of this crisis more and more.